Good morning. I'm Mr. Jeff with AKLA Martial Arts here in Hudson. We are the American Kempo Leadership Academy, where you learn character development and good habits through the martial arts and yoga. If you'd like to learn more, check us out, karateforfree.com. That's karate, the number 4, free.com. All of my students watching this morning, you should be well acclimated to this list by now. Go ahead and check it out over the weekend and try to get started with it on Monday to stay focused on your schoolwork. Adults who don't have kids, this also applies to you. It's no coincidence that the very first thing on the list says wake up with stretches. This can also be done while you're in bed, okay? If you're stuck at the house, this is going to help you integrate what we're doing in these live casts with what you're doing at home on a daily basis. It's adaptable, so you can kind of adjust it to your schedule. I'm also setting one-on-one lessons for free with anybody who's interested in learning more. We can assess your goals and go from there. You can also go on karateforfree.com to set that up today. All right, so we're gonna get started connecting what we did on day one, but we're gonna start from sitting. Usually on the weekends, we wake up a little later and we're a little more relaxed, on average anyways. So rather than just getting up and standing up and trying to stretch, we can start from sitting, perhaps on the floor or maybe on your bed still. So as I sit down, I'm going to assume a bit of a tall posture. But if I'm in that slouch, that's okay if I start there, it's fine. I want to get into a relaxed position. From here, I'm just going to kind of find where it can be stable, so I'm not putting too much pressure on one side at any given time. It wants to be relatively balanced, so that way I'm able to relax my legs and feel a nice, firm, tall posture. And then I go right to focusing on the breath. Now I can adjust as necessary, and that's kind of the whole point. You're just moving around and getting your body used to being awake. Once you find a good tall seated position, I want you to just start focusing on the area around you with your eyes first. Just kind of look to the right and to the left, which if you're looking at this screen, it's the opposite. If I'm looking to my left, you can look to your right. If I'm looking to my right, you can look to your left. And typically it helps to exhale as you look. Now as you start doing that and staying tall, you'll find that your shoulders want to just naturally drop and keep a relaxed posture as well. If your shoulders are close to your ears, then you're a little bit too tense in the upper body. So just try to focus on directing the shoulders away from the ears, which makes the top of the head go right up and the chin tucks nice and tight. Then I take a big inhale and I should feel a little bit of expansion in my upper spine. That's a good thing if you're feeling that. If there's any pain, absolutely back off for a moment. And remember, any of this stuff, before you do it, check with your healthcare provider and your parents to make sure that it is safe for you, because you know yourself better than I do. For my students, you know that we make this adaptable to your situation. Whatever you're dealing with, we will make it work for you. This is totally tailored to your situation, your needs, and in this case, your daily life, since we're all stuck in the house for a little while. The idea here is, as you can see me moving to the next step, which is twisting, where I was looking, I'm now moving. I'm still trying to stay tall though. I want to try not to turn and lean back, not yet. That doesn't mean you can't do that. It just means that for the purpose of this warm-up that we're doing, you want to try to stay tall at first. Again, it all depends on your situation. Like we did with the balloon yesterday, as I'm breathing out, that's where I twist. I don't want to do it when I'm breathing in, because I might cause some type of an injury in my lungs or the muscles that support the rib cage. So for my yoga students who are familiar with this warm-up, what we're doing is we're breathing in when we're in the center, expanding everything in the front, belly first, then the rib cage, and then as I exhale, I move at the same speed until I'm kind of looking behind me, even if it's just the corner of my eye. As I start to come out of this twist, I inhale, trying to do it through the nose. And then I exhale to the other side. And I'm using my knee as a point of leverage and the floor. Now, once you do that a few times, you can start to just kind of warm up the hips. If your legs get sore, feel free to bring them out. Listen to your body, bring them where they need to go. We're just taking this motion to each level. So next, you might want to straighten out your legs and keep doing the same thing, but use your knee as leverage now. What we're doing is we're compounding different movements. So as I'm working on this twist, I'm also getting a stretch in the muscles where the tension is being applied. So right here, I can feel my back muscles stretching, but also my leg muscles. As well as the inner groin muscle. Now I'm just going to reach forward and back a little bit. Maybe bring my legs up this way, keeping them slightly bent. And as I said in one of our last live casts, for the martial arts students, we're focusing in particular on the placement of our feet and our hands and what posture we take with those. Same with the elbow and the knee joints. Although we do work on straightening them, we do want to work on also keeping them slightly bent when we are extending. We never want to extend to the point where we feel pain under here. Same with our knees. As I do that, I keep it slightly bent right at my knees. I'm working on building the muscle groups. And in my yoga classes, we do the same thing for that purpose. They may not be focusing on the striking points of the kick or the heel palm, for instance, but we are focusing on the same posture because it does strengthen those muscles and prevent injury in the future or allow you to heal faster when you do get injured. Now I'm grabbing right onto my feet and I'm pulling my toes back slightly and my knees are bent so much that I can feel my ribs against my legs. That is paramount if you have back problems. I learned from a very wise yoga teacher who's been teaching for well over 40 years that straight legs are overrated. So I adopt practicing trying to do stretches where your legs are completely straight, but I also adopt doing the complete opposite. I'll work on bending them. And you'll see how as I'm in this position, I'm kind of just feeling my range of motion gently. I'm not going fast. I'm not going too far. I breathe in, and as I breathe out, I try to straighten them a little more, keeping the same motion. Yoga enthusiasts or instructors or practitioners may already see some postures in here that they know. That's part of what our hybrid training offers. We're looking at the transparency in terms of positioning and strengthening the body, more so than we're looking at a particular technique or form. Now I'm going to go a step further and bring my elbows to my knees, my forearms to my shins. And I keep moving side to side, making sure I'm not holding my breath unless it's after a gentle inhale or a gentle exhale. I don't want to hold my breath like I just fell off of the edge of a pool and I need to hold my breath as I go underwater. I'm going to do it as gentle as possible to prevent any unnecessary injuries or any unnecessary pain, rather. Some pain is good pain, but you'll know the difference between good pain and ouch, I'm injured pain. This is why you need to talk to your doctor and your parents before you try any of this stuff. Now parents, my students' parents in particular, they watch all of the classes, so they know exactly what we're doing. And even on the virtual classes, they're right there coaching from the sidelines in their living room to make sure that you're adapting this to your situation and to your household, how you see fit, in accordance with your goals that we set on day 1 in the introductory lesson. We're doing all of that virtual now until this whole COVID-19 situation is behind us. Now I brought my legs back in for a moment because now I'm going to focus on more linear movements, back and forth. And I'm just going to reach down with my elbows. It's okay if they don't touch the floor, but I want to reach down there typically on an exhale. Then as I breathe in, I do the same thing going back. Now I can have my fingers facing me or in any rotational direction around me. I just, again, want to make sure that my elbows are bent. They're not completely straight. Bent just a little bit. This is going to develop the same muscles we put pressure on yesterday with the belt exercise. Tricep muscles in this case when I bring them back. More of my arm muscles, the biceps, depending on what direction my hands are facing. This is kind of like doing dips for you fitness enthusiasts. If I have this chair and I can't go to the gym to do my tricep exercises, well, I have a chair right here and I can just work on those movements. Now, with our martial arts resistance training exercises, we focus on a lot of this stuff, but also compound other movements while we're doing it. So, play with it, see what you can do. Okay? Working different motions, compounding different stretches, right? This one here, if you look at my legs, what do you see? From the last video we did. Maybe this one, right? So think outside the box. We can design this program totally to what you're looking to transform in your life. It's a lot more than just kicking and punching if you're doing the martial arts stuff. And it's definitely a lot more than just sequencing yoga poses if you're into that. So I encourage you to go to karateforfree.com and fill out the form. Let's chat and see what you're looking to accomplish. Now, as I apply pressure on my ankles, I'm compounding 2 different movements again, or in this case, 2 different stretches. Groin stretch, back stretch, sitting tall, just like in the beginning. Now at this point, my body tells me that I'm ready to transition to more of the standing postures like we did on day 1. Listen to your body. What I'm going to do is finish up with a transitional sequence going into what we did last week, and you can piece these all together and see what you come up with from now until our next exercise tomorrow. I will be coming on here live once a day until this situation is behind us, like I told you before. So if you're not ready to start the virtual classes, that's fine. You're welcome here every day to see what this can do to give you some tips to immediately implement into your daily life. And check out the other videos I have on YouTube also. They're old, they're about 4 years old, but they're very informative and it's all stuff that I teach. There's one on there in particular that's kind of silly. It's meant to be funny. There's even a character in there. His name is Guru Jeff. But go ahead and check that out. It kind of shows you how simple adapting a practice to your daily life is. And that's the one thing I tell all my students, and they know it because I'm like a broken record. I say it almost every class. Now watch as I transition. First I'm starting with a few balancing movements. And from here, I'm just going to rotate my body, and then I'm going to come right up onto the balls of my feet. Now I'm balancing that way, kicking points again. Try not to be on the outsides of the balls of the feet. That's not where the ball of the foot is. It's the inner part, right near the big toe. Kind of like this is the bracing point for your hand, not this side here. So this side is where you have the ability to to apply some pressure without getting injured. Right? Now from here, I'm just going to place my fingertips on the floor and watch how I transition. Right to that wide posture. And again, I already start coming in and just working the different positions where I can control it with my hands. And if I have vertigo or anything like that, I want to be careful with this. Make sure I have someone to catch me, or a couch to hold on to, or a chair, something where I have a soft landing. If you have too much pressure here, just lean towards your hands and pull your legs back in. Knees are bent now, and I start working on this motion. As you do this stuff more, it'll become more familiar and easier to do. For more advanced martial artists or yoga practitioners, if you can get a little deeper, here's another way you can do it to work on the front kick, but also getting these muscles engaged a little bit. So that way when I do extend that kick out there and I go in the wrong angle a little bit too much, I don't pull anything. The muscles are already used to that. And then from there, watch my feet. Now I'm over here. I can even go around if I want to. Back to the middle. And then I can take it to a standing position. And I'm just bringing it in, just enough. That way I'm in my horse stance, and now I can start practicing just reaching in different ways with my hands. Maybe some of the students will already see some of these things that I'm doing. Right? So I'm working on different things from the position that I'm in. Just my range of motion. Different striking points, but also, again, if you're not focusing on the fact that this is a punch, it's more or less you're focusing on the rotational stretch and the reach and the range of motion in the arm. See how I'm torquing it to the moment of where my extension is, but also where my impact could be. Right? Same thing here with the whole hand. I could do it with the fingers. There's several different ways that we can feel the range, right? It can be whatever you think it is, right? Or you can see what I'm doing here for some of the students who know some of this motion, right? If you're a beginner, pay attention because you're going to learn some of this stuff. Now, my body says my legs are stiff. I need to focus a little more on rotating and relaxing those muscles just to feel the stretch, just like we did on day one. I'm just rotating to the side, isolating the legs. I'm keeping this. I'm not focusing too much on the twist if I don't want to, because I already did when I was sitting. But now I'm focusing on just settling into this position. I could put my hands up if I want, just to focus on balance and symmetry. I can bring my focus and my gaze somewhere else now if I want. Again with the feet, bringing them in, right to what we call the attention stance. In yoga, they call this Tadasana, mountain pose. You're standing like a mountain, firm. Bring it out to the natural posture. You can tighten the legs and really grip and tense up the whole body. And that famous thing that most people do when they wake up, big stretch. I even go up on the balls of the feet. I reach up with my heel palms, stretching those little areas. And at this point, if I wanted to get into more of a training session and practice on my checklist, this is where it would begin. And I could just start focusing just on getting my heart rate up and working on whatever motions for the day I'm practicing. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please stay tuned for more. Start from video number 1. I'll also post these on YouTube. And look out for my Patreon account, or Patreon, however you say it. I will have some content up there soon for you as well. Thank you very much. Stay safe.